Well, hello, Char8thGrad-GandG. This is, well, you know who it is. It's the two of us.
We want to say congratulations to your graduation.
Well, we've been with you on lots of transitions. We can't be with you on this one exactly like we'd like to be, but we hope that'll change. And this is one of those transitions that's big in part because you're looking forward to a big deal. High school is kind of a big deal. So you'll look forward to it at this graduation. You'll look back at it at your high school graduation and sort of like parenthesis marks right around the whole thing. Yeah, we're thankful that we know you, and we look forward to seeing you in your high school circumstance and surroundings. And yeah, what else, dear?
So I was looking at my calendar that I finally opened up after all these weeks, and I saw I had in there penciled all these events that were happening for you at school. Well, was supposed to be happening for you at school last week, and then of course what was coming up this week. And you know, the plan was we were going to try to be around for some of that, and obviously life has changed. Yeah, this past year it's been quite an adventure, you know, moving into this whole COVID thing, and then you guys taking off on your big adventure with your mom across the country to meet with your dad. Not for a very happy reason did you need to go out there, but you know, you guys had I think a good experience there, spending some time with your mama and helping her, and then your trip home. I mean, it was an adventure in your 8th grade year. One of the things I was thinking about before we did this was just about, you know, 8th grade is, you know, it is kind of a transitionary year from all the stuff when you're younger and you're moving into an area that, you know, back when, before my mother, your great grandma was a teenager. I mean, it was a big deal to be a teenager. Prior to her mother, that was not something in existence. You just basically were already grown up.
Boom, like popcorn.
Girls were getting married within that next, you know, from 16 on, and their whole life changed. So, you know, we're still kind of in this newbie phase, I think. And COVID, of course, is going to probably change that slightly here for both you and Frank in the future, for all of us here, of what that means. I came across this, we're reading this book for our business thing. And I came across a thing that I just wanted to read to you, because I think it kind of relates to this stage that you're moving into. Because one of the big deals it was for me was about your mom and her siblings. They didn't have normal high school either. I mean, you know, we changed their life completely for other reasons than what yours is. But part of what was really important to me in helping them grow up was to grow up and to be given responsibilities, to learn to make decisions, because they wouldn't always be around us, and be protected by the wings that a family does protect you. And the same is going to happen for you. And now is kind of in that transition of, you're going to learn to drive that car. You're going to be making lots of choices with your friends of what to do and not do. And like I often would say, especially to the boys, was
just to the boys, or especially to the boys?
Yeah, because the situation is different. Doesn't matter. But it's one small decision that you make that can seem rather unconsequential can change your life forever. Such as when it comes to drinking and driving. You make what seems to you at the moment a small choice. And kids do this all the time. They get drunk or they take a drug or whatever. And then for many of those kids, it changes their life forever, and often not for good. And, you know, it just is, we pray that you will always be protected by God, and his angels will be hovering around you. And I know they can't force you to make a good choice, but, you know, that's, we just hope that you and your wisdom as you're growing up, that you do make choices that are wise for you, as best you can. I mean, you can't know all the time. I mean, your parents and us, we all have examples of that we could talk about over the years. But this was kind of a paragraph that I thought was pretty, kind of summed up some stuff. It says, lectures don't have half the effect of consequences. And that's so true. You think about it. We can lecture you all we want, but it's really the consequences that really make the real effect. Then she says, what the maturity principle comes down to, she's talking about principles, so she's talking about maturity principles, I think is this. Over time, we learn life lessons we don't forget, and we adapt in response to the growing demands of our circumstances. Eventually, new ways of thinking and acting become habitual. There comes a day when we can hardly remember our immature former selves. We've adapted. Those adaptations have become durable, and finally, our identity and the sort of person we see ourselves to be has evolved. We've matured. And I think maturity happens all the way through your life. There's moments where you are very mature right now, and there's moments you're not. And that's going to happen all the way. And I think even when you're old, it seems like even at our age, we're thinking, well, finally, I kind of come into grips about who and what I am or whatever.
That never ends. We've been at this a long time. New stuff never ends. And well, actually hope that you don't, get to a point of saying, well, I got it all. You know, there's always new, and there's always challenges ahead. There is a sense, I think, and that's kind of what you've been saying, I think, there are certain stretches of life, and high school is one of those, high school and college, where there's compressed numbers of big decisions happening. You know, driving, you mentioned, is one of them. Relations with boys, that's another one. Job, career, don't forget job. That's not a good way of thinking about it. Thinking about a career, thinking about how you want to expend your life in pursuit of what? You know, what kind of purpose do you want to have?
Your free time, your what becomes what people call their hobbies, their interests. And
friends that you build now in these next high school and college years, for a lot of people, they last, some of them are going to last a long time. Not all of them. That's usually not the case, but there are some that will, they'll be there a long time.
Can potentially last your whole life.
And the friend, you know this already, the friends you hang out with have a huge impact on the decisions you make. So the challenge is to pick good ones and be a good one. Works both ways.
Well, yeah, because sometimes you can be a great influence on a friend who needs a great influence.
Yeah.
It's just that if they are what we would call a quote unquote sort of questionable atmosphere that can happen around that friend, you just had to be more careful about the choices you make during the activities that you do. Yeah.
Well,
trusting people, learning to trust people, how to trust people, to read people, and
the lasting values.
Yeah, it becomes of who you are.
Yeah.
A lot of that is already in you, very much so. But a lot of what happens between now and I at whatever age. It's all part of becoming who we see you to be, and yeah, and hanging in there with things. People always, one of the things too this book is talking about is about people with innate, with gifts within themselves already. Lots of us have different sorts of gifts. Some of them we really pursue and some we don't. And but the thing is, hanging in there with whatever it is your gift, your talent, and doing the hard work for it to really become a gift and a talent. You can sort of have one, but you still got to work hard at making it yours, and whatever it is, a part of who you are, whether it becomes your career or
Yeah,
just
and
a
we use a
hobby.
phrase around with health. We think that's true with all parts of our life, is giving God our best, you know.
Yeah.
And, you're still got lots of development ahead of you, and we're excited to watch that. We're going to shut this down because this is already long, but we're privileged to have a chance to share with you. And we're thinking of you. I wish we could be there. We're praying for you all the time, your whole family, but certainly you during this stretch. As we say, there are some pretty key transitions, and this is one of them. Big stuff happening in the future. And, crazy times for that to happen. But, as Grandma said, your parents, all of our kids went through a very weird meaning unusual circumstance and came out the other end, we think, the better for it. So, who knows? Yeah.
You make what you have, and
Right.
how you approach it, that's all part of who you are, your quote unquote character.
So we don't know when we'll see you next. No idea. We'll look forward to that whenever it is. We hope it's sooner rather than later. And until then, blessings. Thankful for your time so far and the gifts that you brought to the people around you, including us. And we look forward to watching you bring those wonderful gifts to the people in your future.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We love you.
Yeah, we love you lots.
And we give you big hugs.
Well, we'll give each other hugs. All right.
Yeah.
Take care.